Oh my God, this is so funny. Because there's no way look. Do we need to get out the paint? I think we should get out paint. This is so fucking funny. All right. So there's the spectrum of possibilities. Let's do this. You have I don't even need to explain this. This is obvious. This quick of a verdict is obviously not hung. There's no way they all 12 immediately agreed to let him off. If he was going to get off or get off easy, they were going to have to convince at least one of them. And that's fucking like a statistic impossibility that it was only one of them that thought he was guilty. He is so fucking cooked. Karmelo Anthony is cooked. Is there any live coverage? Where's the live coverage?
$1 billion at the box office.
Live coverage of Karmelo Anthony. Fox 4 Dallas.
That included 11 women and 7 men. No black jurors, which really led to controversy. I mean, some people felt like because this case is racially charged that there should have been black jurors there. This all happened in 2025. This was during a track meet in Frisco at Centennial High School. Karmelo Anthony was sitting under the Memorial High School team tent. Something interesting that was brought up yesterday is one of the students who testified was asked, is this normal? And he said, when it comes to track and field, it's not rare, it's not unheard of. It is a social sport where sometimes, people from different schools are under another student's or another team's tent. And so, but he didn't say it was common or it happened often, but it was something that took place from time to time.
So if you listen to some of the testimony of the witnesses, and again, the state, I believe, called 21 witnesses, going from memory. The defense, I believe, called a half dozen. Some of those witnesses for the state said it doesn't happen, it's rare, it doesn't happen at all. Witnesses for the defense says, hey, it does happen. So that's kind of a draw there. Who's telling the truth there, right? Does it happen? Doesn't it happen? Okay. The question is what happened under that tent, and whatever happened, if young Austin Metcalf put his hands on young Karmelo Anthony, did the defense, did the violence that responded to that, was it above what it should have been? Was it adequate? That's the question. Was it in self-defense? Was it a vicious intent to take his life? That's what the jurors are asked to decide.
Let's also get into some of the closing arguments. Attorney Mike Howard, this is for the defense, because the defense went first during closing. Oh, okay.
Let's go to Alex Boyer.
Alex, when I spoke to you during the noon show, you said that you saw prayer circles. It looks like things are certainly different now as we are watching what's unfolding behind you. Just describe the mood. What is going on? It seems like there's a lot of tension.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to step out of the way so that you can actually get a better view for what we are seeing here right now. We're about 20 feet away from the other camera angle that you guys have been seeing at this moment. Can you guys hear me in the studio? Can you guys hear me back at the studio? Okay, so I'm standing about 20 feet back from where that other camera angle is, where you've been seeing some of these live pictures. So we're kind of standing behind the crowd. I can tell you that there are barricades that are lined up right at the end of this driveway that has been closed off the entire time. This trial has been in session to try to minimize the amount of people who are driving through and accessing this area that leads into the front of the courthouse. I can tell you that just within the past few seconds, I noticed some of the crowd disperse a little bit. I can tell you that it appears that we have a heightened police presence that has shown up within the past few seconds.
I'm telling you, breaking news, it's a guilty verdict. I'm going to tweet it right now.
Kind of some unification here in front of those barricades. I'm counting about, looks like at least 7 or 8 uniformed officers right on the other side of that barricade, separating this crowd. to the entrance of the courthouse. Of course, the emotions running high as we get into now just past 2:05 p.m. when we know
All right, I was
members of the
first.
media
I
are
was
going to be
first.
allowed back inside the
I was
courtroom to
first.
hear what that verdict is. You know, I can tell you when I first got here a few minutes ago when we heard that a verdict was going to be announced, people were initially scattered out of the way, kind of standing under trees since it is so hot out here. When they heard that there was a verdict that had been reached, that's when you started to see people, some of them running towards the front here to kind of get a spot as close as they can. And then they began chanting, many of them talking about justice for Karmelo. I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio.
Guilty verdict.
Your coverage, by the way, has been simply outstanding. You and Lori Brown have done great work since the very beginning of this. And now we're coming to this heightened emotional.
The fact that it was this quick,
culmination.
also, it wasn't
phase of
manslaughter.
this trial, then the
He
punishment
was
phase,
found
the sentencing
guilty
phase,
for
will begin
murder.
immediately.
Yes, we were expecting that at 2:05, and it looks like the jury has reached a verdict, and it's going to be announced. So we're going to bring you the details as soon as we find out what they have reached. But I think we should probably reset, if you're just joining us right now, as to what is going on right now. The jury started deliberating at 10:52 this
Bro, do
morning.
you have a mustache?
And
No.
at 2:05, they have now
Looks
reached
like
the
you do
verdict.
on
We were waiting
camera.
for that verdict to be announced. 2:07 right now.
Well,
These things
someone's
sometimes
gotta
take some
chud.
time.
Someone's got to
And
shut it up.
things have certainly
Um,
escalated outside of the Collins
It does.
County
It looks like you got a
Courthouse. You can
mustache.
see,
You do have a
Law
mustache.
enforcement out
Yeah, but I
there
just haven't
trying
shaved
to,
anything.
you
Same
know,
here, right?
Yeah.
keep everything calm.
Okay.
Trying to get
Well,
people
can you
away,
share
it
the
looks like,
screen so
from
I
the
can
steps
watch
of
the thing too?
courthouse, but tensions are rising. At one point, we saw two people very close to each other exchanging
wrong
some
screen.
words.
Welcome back to Hitler
You could
HQ,
hear,
everybody.
yelling. Earlier, when we
It
were
went
on the
away.
show,
It went
Alex
away.
Blake
Watch
was
stream. There we
outside
go.
the courthouse,
All
and
right.
he was saying that he saw prayer
All
circles.
right, I
At
already
one point,
tweeted
I think,
it, so I hope I'm
we were
right.
hearing
'cause
someone
otherwise I just
chanting in the
cooked my-
background.
My breaking. I won't be able to break
And
news anymore.
speaking. And so things have certainly
Don't
escalated
tell
even
my
within the
followers
last, I would say, 2
that I did
hours
that,
that he's
trying
been
to
out
beat-
there.
trying
And
to
I'm
beat
sure
everybody.
once this verdict is announced, it will only get worse.
Oh, I mean,
but this,
it's
as you mentioned,
fast,
Sean, this
dude.
doesn't really
This
no,
is
it's-
fast.
situation here, right? The verdict
This
is a
one
verdict.
is
It's a
fast.
guilty verdict. I
Yeah.
literally, the reason I
And
post
it
that
could
is because
lead
it's the
to either
equivalent
one
of
of
me going
people
all in. I'm all
having
in.
Great.
conflict with police out there. And
Dude,
getting
look at all these
arrested
people
out there
outside.
because
We were
of
there on
their
the first
emotions.
day of
These
trial.
moments
This is
are
even
very
crazier.
tense and very intense.
Look at
but
it, dude.
You have to control
So
your
many people
reaction.
being paid to be there right now.
So you have to watch that as
Should
well.
I grow a
as
mustache
watch
until
what's
Chud is
happening
out?
in the courtroom.
I mean, it
It's
doesn't look
coming
bad. That's
down
why I
to
was
jurors
asking
back
it.
in. It could
Doesn't
very
make
well be
your
that they're being
face look
polled
as round and
individually,
as white.
asking if the verdict is
Yeah, maybe
theirs.
I'll- maybe
I
I'll
think
do
you
it.
should
alone.
you should
And then
you should consider
that'll
it.
be read by either the judge
Mustache
or the
only
foreperson,
though.
what that verdict is.
And because this trial really has moved quickly, I kind of want to get into some of the developments that took place this morning. So the jury was able to consider manslaughter as a lesser charge to first-degree murder. Manslaughter is, just
Yeah, they
reckless
didn't do
killing,
that. They
right?
did
He did
not
not,
get
arguing
No.
that Karmelo Anthony did not intend to kill someone. He just happened to kill someone.
I'm surprised they even got it on there. But hey, turn this down a little bit and talk to chat about what they tried to suppress.
First-degree murder.
What they tried to suppress,
Now,
the
as we talked
provocation.
about
Yeah,
earlier, the
So
difference
if you
provocation.
provoke
the
the
maximum
self-defense
sentence, right? So
situation,
for
you
manslaughter,
cannot
the maximum
claim
sentence is
self-defense.
20 years. For manslaughter, for
They did
murder,
not want to
first-degree
instruct
murder,
the jury
They did
as
not want that-
such.
really
They did not want that
life
jury
in prison.
instruction
So
in there because
Karmelo Anthony was facing
it-
between
they
5
know, I
years to
think, that
99
Karmelo,
years in prison.
by
During
staying
closing arguments, the state
in that
actually
tent
waived the right to open.
where he
so
had
the
a right
defense
to
went
be,
first.
as far as like
And
the
so on
trespass and like
Karmelo
stand your
Anthony's
ground and
side,
stuff,
his
he does
attorney,
have a
Mike
right
Howard,
to be
argued
there.
that Anthony
There's
was
like
invited
Right.
into the tent
maybe
by somebody
rules
he
and
knew,
like decorum
and
about
that
like
nobody
oh
had
you
the
normally
right
stand
to
under
Sure.
this tent.
That's not
Like,
law.
there's no
in terms
law,
of,
statute,
some of the witnesses
policy
have
that
said
says
he
you
was pushed,
can't
he
go
was
stand under
shoved.
another
They used
tent.
different words to
But
describe
Right.
the stand your
that
ground
physical altercation there.
analysis
Attorney Howard
only
also
applies to
claimed
the
that
duty to
Anthony
retreat
did not
part
have the right,
of
Right.
the self-defense claim. It doesn't have anything to do with the reasonableness, the imminence,
bigger than him. That was
the
something else that
immediacy,
was brought up
the
was
immediately
the
necessary
difference in
elements,
size between both
which
of
are
these
clearly
17-year-old
not here.
boys. But
This is not a
prosecutor
stand
Bill
your ground
Worski,
case.
he argued
Nothing
that
in this
Anthony
case
showed up with a
changes how
mindset
stand your
that,
ground works in
which
Texas.
is why he had a knife with him. Prosecutors argued that self-defense is not a defense in this
Come
case
on, I wanna see this
because
fucking-
Anthony
I want the
proved,
verdict. Come on, bro.
provoked Austin Metcalf into pushing him when he said, "Touch me and see what happens." So the question here is, Was this self-defense
I
or
totally
was
cheated.
this deliberate? Did he
Place.
intend
If
to
you're
do this?
watching
What
chat.
what happened here? That is what the jury is going to have to decide on. Or was this a case of manslaughter, as we just mentioned, the lesser charge that was
Didn't
presented
Kyle
this morning,
Rittenhouse come
to the
back
jury
quick,
that they could
too?
also consider.
And
I don't know. I
in
don't
a case
remember how
like
quick
this,
that one
you
was.
talk about Bill Werski
I was trying to think of the last
high
high-profile one that came back like really fast, and everybody was like, "Oh boy."
Prosecutors, because the burden of proof is on the state, they get to open. The
don't know.
defense makes its close, and then they get to
I've
rebut
sat
that
through
to have the last word.
2-3
He
days
wanted
of
to
jury
stack all of his
deliberations before.
time, so he deferred, if you will.
Yeah.
Will hold ours and reserve it and wait, so he could have this powerful and emotional planned close, which is.
I
what
feel like
he did.
Casey
That's
Anthony
what
went on
an
forever.
attorney is supposed to
I
do,
feel like
is have to
OJ
press their
went on
claim
forever.
to the jurors, and the last voice you hear,
That one I might be
maybe the last
misremembering.
impression. And so we'll have to see what this jury decides. One of the interesting things, and I think we've talked about it a little bit on our air, is that Bill Werski and Toby
Everyone
Schuetz
in the chat
have
is
worked
saying
together
firing
some of the
squad
biggest
with
cases
white
I
involving
know,
both
dude.
prosecutors in the same time at the
With the
Dallas
white
County District
fists.
Attorney's Office. Some of the most historic cases in North Texas, they worked on them together, even as special prosecutors for a case down in Kaufman County where an assistant district attorney was
He's
assassinated.
guilty, dude. He's got to be.
Oh,
Now
100%.
on another historic
Here's the thing.
case,
If
are
they
at
were going to get a
opposite
hung
tables
jury,
in the
obviously that
courtroom.
was going to take a
And
long
we will
time. So
see
we can rule that
how,
out.
you
If they
know,
were gonna
how the jury
convince everybody
decides
to
what
let
what
this kid
decision
off
they
because
have
of
come
some
to.
sort
We
of,
are
like,
waiting for them to
social
announce their
whatever,
verdict.
like elements,
Um,
that was not
this-
going to just be all
This
12
case certainly
immediately
got
agreeing.
national attention, I
That was gonna
believe,
take
from the
time to get
very
to that
beginning.
verdict.
Whether you live in
The
Texas or
quickest
not, I think
verdict
many
is
people have heard
obviously
about
going
this
to be,
case.
yeah,
We've
he did
seen
it.
national media
Right.
come over to Collin County outside of the courtroom. We've
So
seen
it's a guilty
TikTokers,
verdict. I'm putting
YouTubers.
all
I
my
mean,
eggs
it
in
has
that
gained a
basket.
lot of interest.
Yeah, I mean, he
risking
killed
my
somebody, dude. Like, this is
entire
not one that you're
credibility.
debating really from the starting point of
prior to
he
this
didn't
incident.
do it. Like,
But
there's no doubt he killed
it has
somebody, you know?
garnered a lot of attention, and
It's a little
so
bit
I
different
think
when
that
you're.
this
I
is
even think
also
it's like
part
kind of
the
the
fire
opposite of
from
what
so many
George
people out
Zimmerman
there.
walked
It has
into.
raised
His
a lot
defense
of,
was just able to
emotions,
convince
too.
them,
Mainstream
you know?
attention,
Right.
New York Times, CNN, Fox News Channel, News Nation.
Like, everybody walks
all
into that like,
covering
okay,
this, and
somebody's
we've
dead,
seen,
so where do we
either
go from
family
here?
members of these folks involved.
If anyone in
or-
chat
or-
wants to hop
or,
into the
you know,
show chat,
those who are
let-
speaking
hop
for
in.
them all across
For this
the
historic
weeks
moment.
Chat.
leading
for
up
this
to
historic
this
moment
trial.
on MAGA
Now, even though
headquarters.
Judge imposed a
Start
gag
of the
order,
summer
those
love,
immediate
V2,
involvement
roll
with
right into
outside
Chud the
voices,
Builder.
surrogate voices
I don't even know
that have been
about
speaking
that.
for both sides.
I don't
along
know.
the way.
I
So
don't
with the
think
sheriff's
that. I
deputies
think this
there
is
now,
like
the
fringe
Collin County
online
Sheriff's deputies,
retards. I still
things have
hope that.
quieted
I
down
agree with that.
somewhat. They were there and kind of
Intense.
allowing people to have their voice, but they've kind of stepped up their presence as we're now getting closer
It's
to
basically
learning
just all the
what
black
that verdict
activists, I think.
is today.
Something that was
Black
interesting to me
activists.
during this trial
Black
is, you
activists.
know, and this seemed to have shocked some people too, is we did not hear from Austin Metcalf's twin brother. He did not testify during this trial. We
Oh,
also
Asmund
didn't hear
Gold's live
from,
too.
Carmelo
Watching
Anthony
this?
either about
I-
this.
I
And
mean,
I
I
think that was
got to
probably
be. Check
strategic,
in.
too, in terms of not having them testify.
Well, first, since you mentioned Carmelo Anthony first, let's talk
Mistrial,
last.
someone
Let's talk
said in
about that
chat.
first.
Yeah, they decided mistrial
You
after 2
cannot
hours.
hold it against me if I don't testify.
Yeah, in an hour, they were like, hung jury,
Even
sorry.
if my
That would
defense
never
attorney-
Sorry
happen.
for the 2-week
If
trial.
my
It's
attorneys
just-
feel like
Yeah.
we have proven our point, we have proven our position without your testimony.
Dude, I wish I was
because
there.
remember, anytime you take the
Just
stand,
kidding, maybe not.
you
I'm
I'm
open
glad.
yourself up
I know,
to
I don't like that
cross-examination.
she's there.
And a skilled attorney, no matter how innocent you may be, a skilled attorney can press his claim through you. As for
I mean, they had to go for the
man.
manslaughter.
Um,
They needed
I
to
don't
get
know
that
if
because
they
their
felt like
entire
they needed
argument
to
was
bring
that
emotional
Austin
wound to the
fell on the
surface
knife.
to press their claim and prove their point
So dumb.
to jurors.
So stupid.
Through video, through tearful
Touch me and see what
testimony.
happened. Touch
Many
me
of
and
the
see
21
what happened.
witnesses,
Touch
I
me
think,
and see
spoke
what
freely
happened.
of that moment.
5 times. Went
We
in a
heard
loop.
about how
And then
they were trying
Austin
to
Metcalf fell
contest
on his
confession
knife.
and
Yeah,
all
right.
that. I think they
Dude,
felt
they
we don't
already know
need
it's a
to
guilty verdict.
bring
Even all the
him
people
back through
outside
that
here
and let
right
him
now.
live through that moment.
Yeah, that's why there's
Remember,
nobody
the
outside.
medical examiner talked.
I mean,
Some of the
relatively,
testimony
this
before
is like
family members
nobody.
of Metcalf left
Yeah,
the
that's
courtroom.
true.
About
So
half
really
of
pushing
that
through
showed
that
up to George
trauma
Zimmerman
in front of the
verdict.
jury,
It's just
I think
crazy
they
how
felt
bad
they
the
were okay
arguments
without
were.
that. And I think
Right.
the defense felt the same thing.
Oh, he was bigger.
They
That-
were
he can
okay
kill him 'cause he's
without
bigger.
Carmelo Anthony taking the
Oh, you can kill
And for
him
people
'cause-
who are watching
'cause-
and maybe wondering too, the prosecution called.
Can you
21
imagine if you had like a municipal court
initially,
appearance the same day?
35 witnesses
You're
were
just like,
expected,
fuck.
And the defense called a handful of witnesses.
No
I
way.
think
Like
I've
in the
heard from different
courtroom
legal
next to this, you're
experts
just
that
like,
the
oh,
defense
God.
really doesn't even have to call
Gonna have to
witnesses in
wade
this
through
case. It
this to get
always
to my
falls on the
municipal court
prosecution's
hearing.
side in terms of
I don't think
trying to
municipal court
prove
at
that he
courthouse,
is
but
guilty.
there's
So that
probably
is why,
someone who's
you know, if
going
you
that's
think, oh,
like
there's a
doing a
disparity,
status
why were there
hearing.
21 witnesses on one
Right.
side and
They're like, yeah, I
a
got a status
handful
hearing for
of
DUI.
witnesses on the other
So
side?
I-
That is probably why you see a higher number on the prosecutor's side.
Well, sometimes less is better.
It was all in the same building in Orlando. Like I said, I think it was 32
The
floors.
families are in the courtroom. Okay.
And if you went to the higher
Not,
floors, you
yet
knew you were
on
in
the
trouble.
bench, now back in the courtroom. And,
Oh,
time
man.
is very flexible.
I'm gonna
There's something
fucking
in
cry
Texas
laughing
called
'cause we
legal
called this the
time,
second
lawyer
it
time.
happened. It was so obvious. What's up,
And
Druid?
whatever it is, it's not what's on the
You
clock
ready?
on the wall.
You ready for history?
So this is a big moment, right? And,
Hell
and
yeah.
this is going to be a moment for these.
It is
jurors.
fast as fuck, boys.
That was
They've
a
been
fast
brought into
verdict.
this. It's a supercharged.
Fast as fuck, boys.
maybe they have
And you know why?
The
Because
fucking
everyone
chat,
who can
dude.
We
fucking
hope they were
see
honest
reality and
in
think
voir dire,
logically knows that
they
this
had not
fucker's
come to any
guilty.
conclusions about this case. Certainly, they've heard about
He
it.
brought a knife.
Dude,
Some
the
of them
chat is
saying,
going
"Oh,
crazy. Holy shit.
the knife
Chat is going
illegal."
crazy with firing
They'll be a great
squad.
jury.
The knife isn't
and we pray
illegal.
that's so.
It's-
But
the knife is
they've
illegal.
been in
It's
this
illegal on school property.
crucible. They know what's happening.
That's
outside.
illegal on school
They
property.
know
It's
the
not
pressure
illegal
on
to
this.
carry in general.
And so
means
we'll
nothing.
soon hear the verdict in this case. We'll soon hear the verdict.
Yes, we should. As we've
Whose
talked about
video
this,
are we
this
watching? Because
is
they got to get the
got
mods in
national
there.
attention, which is why so many
Dude,
people have
everyone,
come
even
out,
I'm getting involved in this. I want
to,
to post the white list.
protest.
You have to become
on
number one,
whichever
obviously.
Side that they're on, to whether it's to defend Austin Metcalf or Carmelo Anthony,
There, I
and
got mine
so it looks
I'm on the
like
record
things have
with the-
certainly
with the
calmed
fists.
down. That was not the case when we
Let's go.
got on about 20 minutes
get it
ago or so. So I guess
You gotta
that's
keep
good
getting
news
it in,
there
that's
that
the
things
thing,
are
though.
starting to calm down. But we're going to see, how all of this plays out. And we'll go from
it on
there.
s-
I
why
mean,
can't I
this was
see
a
where mine is?
12-person
Click the
jury.
blue. Click the blue arrow.
600 people were part of that initial jury selection. They narrowed it down to
Oh, yeah, there
12
it is.
people.
Looks like it is.
Black Squad,
And
yeah.
over
There it
the
is.
course of 2.5 days, the
Penn has black
prosecution
friends,
called
so
21
he covers black
witnesses. The
court
defense
verdicts. That's
called
right.
a handful of witnesses.
That's
And
true.
so now it is this case
Carmelo's
is really in the
innocent.
hands of this jury. It is
Not
up
guilty.
to them. They have made their
Carmelo's not
decision.
guilty. It's
And
self-defense.
so
You're allowed to
we are
stab people
patiently
if you want.
awaiting to find out what that decision is.
That's the
What
rule.
have they
In fact,
decided?
It's done now. They've made their decision. They've come to a verdict.
Yep.
And we'll soon hear that. And then the punishment phase, sentencing phase will begin. And Austin Metcalf's brother is in the courtroom next to his mom right now. And so
They're gonna
this
have
has
a civil
been an
lawsuit if they
emotional
win,
burden
too.
for all involved.
They would
All- I
have
mean,
one
all
with or
these kids
without
are
the
good
win,
kids.
but yeah,
No,
it definitely
they
becomes
lost,
stronger
right?
with the
They
win.
all had
I don't
bright
think they would be able to
futures.
sue.
And-
You
in
you
a
can
moment,
definitely
whatever
still
happened under
sue.
that tape has derailed a number
It
of
just
You're
lives.
doesn't
right.
become as
Actually, you're right.
strong.
I think it was
Yeah.
also
You're right,
during
you're
the
right.
trial, people have talked about
Yeah, the
how
criminal
emotional
winning
it
the
was. I
criminal
think you
case just
mentioned
makes the
this too,
civil suit
Sean, but
basically like
having to see
like
the
a rubber
surveillance
stamp.
footage,
But
having to
Right, it's
see,
the inverse.
just
When
what
the
unfolded in the
defendant
moments
loses,
after
they cannot civilly sue
this
because it would
this altercation, this
contradict.
interaction between these two 17-year-old moments.
O.J. Simpson. That's what happened to
This
O.J.
is probably, I would imagine, emotionally taxing for both sides, for both families, and to just consider that a lot of these friends who were part of the track team, who went to school with both students, it's got to be very emotional for them as well to be a part of this and to witness all of this play out. So
dude,
we will see, what the jury has decided momentarily. Again, we were expecting for that decision to be announced at 2:05. It is
Maybe
2:20
we
right
got-
now.
Like the worst-
So
No,
they're a little
you
bit
got your
late,
react
right?
bullet.
We're a little
stab
bit.
it.
like the worst
15
thing that
minutes
happened at
behind
my high
schedule, but I
school
think,
is like
that
a car
sometimes
accident,
happens in
right?
these kinds of
Like,
cases.
Right. And
Jesus,
so
fuck.
we're really
it's
not
just-
like-
Dude, that's so funny. That's exactly what I texted Ryan earlier. I'm like, the worst thing that happened in my town was kids stealing beer from the grocery store.
Here's the problem.
There are
If
sweaty
this was
palms, there
allowed to be
are,
self-defense,
sweaty foreheads,
every single
hearts are
fight
racing,
in every single high school
everyone in
ever
that
Right.
courtroom,
would
on
result in
either
a
side,
fucking
everyone in
death.
that courtroom has the same
This shit
sense
is
of anxiety
retarded to
at
think
this
that you
moment.
can fucking bring a
As
knife
they
to
wait
these
for
places,
words that will
stab
echo
somebody
in
because
their
they
hearts
touched
and
you.
minds,
Like the
long
precedent that would
beyond
set
today.
would be
And there was question about,
literally
okay, well, how long
devastating.
is this jury
There is
going to
no
deliberate
way
for?
that he's
was
not
the
getting a
question this
guilty
morning. We
verdict.
were wondering, right? Because
And the fact that it was
this
this
was kind
quick,
of their first time
I am telling
really
you, at
talking
the risk
to
of
each
looking
other
so
about
retarded
what
if
the
I'm
evidence
wrong,
that was presented to
this
them, right? So
is
this
a
is their
guilty
first
verdict.
time,
And when they announce
you know,
it,
saying, well, I thought this, or I thought that,
these
or
are
what
the
did you
reasons
make
I
of
knew.
this? And so
These are the
really for
reasons I
them
knew.
to
And if
come
I'm
to a
wrong, I'm
conclusion, to
retarded.
come
And
to a
that'll
decision
be interesting.
within 3
But
hours of
If I'm
deliberating,
wrong,
I'm
this
telling
country's
you.
going to
okay,
shit more
that's
than it
fine
already
too. You know,
is.
maybe we'll
I would
expect
put
it
my
later
whole
this
net worth
evening
on a
or
guilty verdict
tomorrow,
right
but
now.
it sounds like they have come to a
If
consensus.
Carmelo's
I don't think you
found
have
not
to.
guilty in
Formula
this verdict,
for how
I will donate
juries work over my years. I've
$100
had
to
an
Black Lives
opportunity to
Matter.
interview a number of jurors. Oftentimes,
You heard it here,
they'll
folks.
return
You heard it
to
here.
the jury room and immediately take
on.
a vote to
Clip
find out
that
where they
shit.
are in the room. And then
We had
they'll
any
start working
moderators?
through evidence or,
As my punishment.
questions, talking out loud amongst
I'll
themselves from there.
pay towards
to
that
see if they,
Black
which way
Lives
they
Matter
move, if they
mortgage
move
on
at
that
all.
house that they
So
got.
we don't know where they started. But
Do
we
the one, do
know
the
starting
BLN from
deliberations at
Texas though, obviously.
10:52, and then getting
Yeah.
word
They can send
when
it
we
to
did,
tell
You know what? I'll
Collier's
drive
campaign.
to the courthouse and give
Yeah,
somebody there
you know, they
$100
reached a
and say,
verdict.
"Here's your reparations."
They weren't too far apart, whichever direction
win.
you're in. And they weren't too far apart. It didn't take that much longer to get there. So
It's
we'll
a guilty
see if
verdict.
any
I
of
just
the
wish they
jurors
would tell
talk
us.
after
They were
all of
called
this
back
is over
15 minutes ago.
as
What are they
well.
doing? Are they not reading
It
it?
is
Do we not know?
2:22 now, and we are waiting for the verdict to be announced
Are
in
there
the
no cameras
Carmelo
in the courtroom
Anthony
for even
murder
like,
No.
media? Not
in
even for
Collinsville.
I can't believe it. There are
That's
no
right.
cameras
The
in
jury
there.
was able to
But not
consider
even for-
manslaughter.
Not even for
as the
this. I was like, at
lesser
least
charge.
read the verdict with
Initially,
cameras.
Carmelo Anthony was facing a first-degree murder charge. So now is this manslaughter or is this first?
It's not even happening. It's
manslaughter
totally
implies that this
fake,
was
and
just a
fucking
reckless
Sarah
killing
Fields
that
is
kind of-
Mossad.
In that spur of the moment, in fear maybe of his safety, he felt that he was in danger and he decided to defend himself. That is what the defense is arguing. Murder would includes the intent. You know, was this intentional? Did he mean to do this? There were some people who asked the question of why did he bring a knife to a track meet? And there were some more details that were brought out about that knife.
I was right about
This
that, by the way.
is in the courtroom, and she is
The
able
knife
to,
was a
send out messages.
school
She is
policy, but
saying
he was allowed to have it under Texas law.
talking to the family members, and
Yeah, under-
she
not on the
believes that the
school, though,
attorneys are preparing the
general.
family.
Yeah, no, he was. He was. That's something that came out during the trial, that it was not illegal for him to have that knife on school property, even though it broke school policy. Yeah.
So then would school policy of confiscation of a knife then be able to be challenged?
Probably, dude. I mean, we had parents constantly
That is a little
coming to the school and fucking getting their kids shit. We had a guy that got a fucking BB gun confiscated out of his truck. The fucking parents threw a fit, got the gun back, threatened
Yeah,
to
but
sue the
you
school.
grew up in times where like my mom would talk about like we just had our guns on our trucks
Right.
because we went hunting.
Russell, thank you for joining us here. We are
They didn't care about the gun. They didn't want him to have it out in open view, is what they said they were mad about.
Sadie, didn't they establish during the trial that Carmelo had been suspended previously for having a knife? Was it a different
Yeah,
knife?
but it's still not illegal under Texas law.
Yeah, it's not illegal
fairly soon.
to own it and possess it, but it is on school property. 4603.
Be consistent
It is
them
illegal.
not-
They said it didn't matter.
Possession,
That's what the
restricted
report
knife,
said
or
today
other
that I
prohibited
read.
weapons on school premises. That
It
is
said
a
under
penal
Texas
code
law, we don't
statute.
give a fuck about what
It
the school
wouldn't
policy was. He was allowed to have it.
To resolve those
This
disagreements.
is Texas penal code.
And so I think it was really kind
Location
of a
restricted
moral
knife
issue,
or other
if you
prohibited
will.
weapons on school
There wasn't
premises.
really a doubt about who
And
done it and
Possessing
how
a
it
knife
happened
triggers
or any of
mandatory
those
disciplinary
types of
action under
things.
the Texas Education Code.
And so perhaps
I mean, you
based
can
off of
fight
what they
with the
heard,
judge if you want to.
jurors
No, no, no.
have
Why don't you
So-
march your little ass up in there and fight with the judge about it?
And
No,
you know,
I'm saying
eventually,
you can have this knife
that came to a unanimous
in
verdict,
like I can possess
Russell,
this knife in
Sean,
Texas in general. I can't take it onto a school property.
Sean, let's go in on what
That's
that
a location
narrow-
restriction.
That's not
the two
what
narrow really questions are.
came out of
Narrow
it. That's not what the reporting said yesterday.
Yeah, I think one of them.
The only reporting I saw was that the
did they
knife
believe
was
this
not
was murder or
illegal in Texas,
manslaughter?
which would be what, over 5.5
and then
inches.
if they did believe that it was either one of those
Oh, good.
crimes,
Good.
did
See, I
they
told you.
believe that it was justified?
Probably.
And
I do still think
But
he
I like
violated.
even if it
That'll help,
even if
though.
it
Carmelo
like
Anthony.
even if it was
And,
illegal, it wouldn't really
they had
enhance it though. It's still,
throughout the
murder.
trial
Well, it's not
extensive
necessarily a
testimony
charge that you would
regarding
face
really
at
an
this
incident
court.
that took
Just like
place,
remember how the
Yeah.
wide right turn,
very
I had the
quickly in
UCW
a
at the
matter of
county,
seconds.
and I had the possession at
And
the
so
city.
when they're sitting there as
The fact that he
jurors,
wasn't charged with
even though
like
they're not
possession of the
deliberating,
knife
they
doesn't necessarily
themselves
mean
are
that he didn't
forming
violate
at least
that.
individual
Well, like also, it's
opinions
also like, what is even
regarding
the
the
consequence of
evidence.
that? It could just
And
be that he
so
gets
the first
suspended from
time
school,
that you
right? It's
actually
not like
deliberate as a whole
there's jail time or
is
anything necessarily
in
associated
But the
with
point
it.
is like the knife being
deliberations.
legal
But
in
when you're sitting
general
there through a
in
trial
Texas
and you
doesn't
hear
follow that it
testimony,
is legal at a
it has to
school.
cause you to form an
Those are two
opinion
different,
or some thought one
like
way or
because the
another.
school
So Brock
policy
says
Yeah, but, like,
under
you're not
under
saying what the
Texas state
actual
law,
punishment
yes,
is.
Carmelo Anthony was allowed to have the
Usually,
knife at the track
your
meet.
mind is working your way through to one way or another.
It was under
regarding
5.5
how you
inches.
feel
That was the
about,
threshold.
the case. And the judge provides the law, and the law then either affirms.
A
I wonder if they
location
also make a
restricted
distinction
knife
between
is defined as
track
an
field and the
so
actual
I
school
think
grounds.
that was probably what was happening here.
I don't know, but it says the location
again,
restricted knife is defined
the
as a
scope
knife
of
with a blade
issues
longer
that
than
cases could
5.5
have,
inches.
Even though this is,
yes, but it also says
His
or
was
other
under
prohibited
5.5
weapons.
inches.
The issues are kind of narrow.
Right, and
Which is
you
insane
talked to
that
many
like
of your
like I
jurors, both
think it was
as a
3.5
prosecutor
they
and defense
said was
attorney.
deep enough
Did you
to
find they retired
stab
to
his
that
heart.
jury room, and Russell, they kind of do a straw poll to see where
Crazy.
they are on guilt or innocence, and then they start really deliberating and look at facts or evidence or revisit testimony from that point forward, if need be?
Right.
I didn't
yeah,
think
I
I
think
was gonna be
usually the
so much
first thing
earlier
they
that
do
people
is
are gonna know
select
I
the
fucking-
four-person,
I was trying to
and
be 35
then
minutes, not like
they
you
usually
were gonna know
talk
I
about that.
fucking
They
shoved that.
maybe spend time going back over the jury instructions again, which wouldn't take very long. And then if you take a straw poll or a vote and you see where people are at on issues, then you may ask a person why they felt this way or that way. And then if their recollection of events is different, or the reason that they feel one way or another
Why is it taking so long
is
to get the
different, somebody
verdict?
may
They already
point
called
out
back.
something
What the
in the
fuck?
law or something in the evidence that might cause the
milking this. Who's
person to
milking
view
this?
it a different way. And that's kind of
Do you
how
know what you're watching?
deliberations proceed.
Fox
And
4?
there's usually a few folks
Why
that
would they milk
we
it?
would
Yeah.
characterize as followers.
No, I mean I
So,
understand the court
meaning that
hasn't like they're
they,
gonna give it to us as soon as the court releases.
based
I'm
off
saying,
of their
what the fuck?
disposition, are more likely to
Oh, you think the
follow
courts
Well,
want that?
a person who's
the court
firm
the court
in
called
their
him back at
belief.
2:05. So
And so
when you got called back in, you probably didn't realize it, but it was almost like 45 minutes until you got a verdict.
that are firm, and then other individuals have to either be as equally firm for the verdict not to be reached, or they have to be open to a discussion. And over the course of that discussion, the firmer the person's belief is, then
We're
the
probably not
more
going to know until they all
likely
walk
the
out and the
verdict
court
is gonna
adjourns,
go
right?
that person's way.
Okay, and so we understand now that the jurors are being brought in, and we don't have a lot of time to go into more about the minds of jurors, but you want both firm and followers on any jury.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess before we go to that, I mean, we're waiting to find out what the decision is. Let's talk a little bit about this trial in terms of, we did get more insight in terms of why Carmelo Anthony was under the tent, that he had a friend, that it was raining, he went for cover, but the defense never explained why he brought this pocket knife. It was just a small knife, 3.5 inches, why he brought it to the track meet. Do you think that in terms of, on the defense's side, was that a missed opportunity in terms of not explaining why he had that with him? Is that something that they should have gotten into, or is this a case of less is more?
I mean, I think they ultimately decided
Okay.
Location
that
restricted
less was
knife
more.
means a knife with a blade
I think
over
their
5
point
1/2
was
inches.
it was lawful to
So you have
have
location
Right.
restricted knife
and
and
risking
you
a
have knife.
violation of school policy
Right.
was indifferent.
The location restricted
When you
knife
think of a
is what they were
person
saying. The
having a
blade was only
knife,
3.5
the
inches,
knife
allegedly.
is displayed, and jurors have to form a belief if they think that that knife can be used for other utility purposes, or if it's there exclusively to
I got a
be
2
used as a
3/4
weapon.
knife.
So, in the range of knives, if you will, one of the things is that the knife was less than 5.5 inches, which suggests that under Texas
Frisco
law,
ISD policies,
well, not
which are
suggest, it
allowed to
is
be
actually
stricter than the
legal
law.
to carry it there.
Yeah.
But
Nobody's
it
arguing
suggests
that.
it also could have other
Right.
potential
Yeah,
uses.
And
that
of course,
doesn't use location
not
restricted
having the knife cleaned, leaving the
Frisco
dried
Okay.
ISD
blood on the
student
knife
code explicitly
lends
bans
to the
students from
minds and
possessing a
imagination of
pocket
the
knife.
Are you
jury
really
what
trying to
that means.
argue Frisco ISD code though
I
over the
think
law
that, you know, they
right now?
It's
decided
allowed
that
to be
the,
stricter. It can't be looser than
regardless
the
of
law.
the
It's allowed to be
reason, it
stricter.
did not.
Yeah,
say
but are
that
they
it
allowed to
was
arrest
for
Carmelo
purposes
Anthony
of
and throw him in Frisco
confrontation,
ISD jail for
with
carrying
the
this knife?
person that he didn't know he was going to
No,
No,
but
then it doesn't
be
matter.
into a confrontation with on that day. So I think certainly you
I
want to
do
try
think
to
it
answer
matters.
every question you can,
Right.
but every answer comes with risk as well. If Carmelo had testified, he certainly could have been cross-examined, and it might have been an opportunity for the state to go back through in a different way the events as they unfolded from his seat. So I think they weighed that out and decided against it.
Lori Brown is telling us now that Judge Roach is on the bench and said that we are now on the record to bring in the jury, warning those in
Here
the
we go.
courtroom any outbursts a person
Jury's
will
coming in.
contempt. Defense attorney Mike Howard standing with his arms on Carmelo Anthony. And I think Russell Wilson with the